Brandon should be the other guy doing the Q&A. Which aisle are you on?
I'm on the left side.
And we will have a break in about an hour and a half to allow for some more visiting. I want to thank you all for joining us here early on a Sunday morning in what is a very special tradition that I, and I know many others here, cherish. The first conference we held was across the street. It was then Fleming Law, and that would have been January of 2000. And the topic was telecommunications law for the 21st century. Judge Stephen Williams has been to that conference and every conference we've had since, as has Dale Hatfield, whose birthday it was yesterday. And both of them inspire the spirit of inquiry. I often teased Judge Williams that when he started talking about open access and pipelines, it was actually natural gas that was being talked about. And Ray Gifford, who has also been to every one of these conferences, would say that there's nothing new that hasn't already been debated in the context of railroads. And so we will continue to look through the lenses of enduring themes. It was also 20 years ago that Hal Varian and Carl Shapiro published Information Rules, talking about enduring economic themes, and we're so privileged to have both Hal and Carl here today. This conference is about that deep analytical examination of these cutting-edge technological issues, and we've done it for the last 19 years. I've probably put together well over 100 Silicon Flatirons conferences, and there's certain common denominators that I just want to mention a little bit about, as well as some of the background flavor. First is we are very much committed to our students, and thus what Paul Ohm has called the Wiser Rule, which I own proudly. Every panel will first ask students to have the first question. The other rule is when we do have breaks, receptions, etc., I ask the professionals to seek out the students. How many students are here in the audience right now? Okay, and there'll be several more joining us. They didn't wake up as early as the professionals. One of them is Sarah Rippey, who is the symposium editor, has put a lot of work together and who will be announcing. She has yet to land on her summer job, so feel free to seek her out. She has done incredible hard work. Let me ask a round of applause for Sarah. And then these conferences used to involve me worrying about them. So back in that first conference, I had one of those anxiety dreams where you're late to your final exam. Anyone here ever have that dream where you're sort of, yeah? I don't have those anymore because we have Anna and we have Kelly and we have Susanna, we've got Vanessa, and we've got Sarah. They are an amazing team. Give them all a round of applause. And I cannot share enough, because this is the real transitional moment for me, how much this gathering continues to mean, and I look forward to being engaged as an executive fellow like Pierre de Vries, who's with us here, the aforementioned Dale Hatfield, Brian Tremont, who will be joining us, Ray Gifford, and others. This is a very special community, and I will continue to look forward to these and other gatherings. As you think about topics for next year's conference, people used to always come up to me during this conference and say, you should do this next year. I will have the ability to be more of a kibitzer next year than a sort of planner, but Blake Reeder is here, who has a great interest in helping to think about what this topic looks like next year, so feel free to also talk to him, and always Dale, of course. It's also great to have Paul Ohm back, who's been an erstwhile colleague here and really committed to this conference. So this is a special group. If you look at the back, you'll see all the supporters who are, or somewhere in this, the back page, who are helping making this possible. People who believe in this spirit of intellectual inquiry, and people who believe in the interdisciplinary approach that we've had. And I have to acknowledge, as I often do, Frank Barnes. Where's Frank? Right there. So the reason I'm here, and the reason I interviewed 21 years ago, is because Frank had the foresight to establish an interdisciplinary telecommunications program. And he did so in the early 1970s. Finally, of course, law takes a while to catch up. The law school said, let's hire somebody who could be a part of this program. And that was what gave me this opportunity. And very quickly, and I said, there might be room to have a forum to gather people together who are in the industry, who are in government, who are in academia, public interest advocates, to work through these continuing set of issues. And that's what we've been doing over the last 19 years. And Frank has probably been to every single one of these conferences. He and his son, Stephen, are just true intellectuals and inspirations. So thank you both. We have a lot of interesting and fun discussions ahead of us. Those who want to participate online, we invite you to use the hashtag #Flatirons, and it's at, like I said, the hashtag #SiliconFlatirons. Don't do flatirons, because then you'll be confused with the actual Flatirons. In past years, that was sort of a fun branding confusion, but we've alas addressed that. And it's at @SiliconFlatiron is the name if you do call us out at some point. We often have fun Twitter discussions and featuring a range of interesting characters. I don't know if we'll see from the fake Preston Patton this year or not, but occasionally we have in the past, or Chris Laughlin's beard, you never know, who comes out on Twitter for Flatirons. Also, as you have questions, please think about them. We want to have plenty of time for questions and discussion. Like always, we want to start off with technology, and we've got a twofer today. We've got two chief technology officers of companies that are meaningful in Colorado. First, T-Mobile, and then Jack Waters will join a couple of academic greats on a panel moderated by Blake. I will give a short introduction to Neville Ray, who's been at T-Mobile through various incarnations. And how long have you been the chief technology officer for now?
About a dozen years.
Dozen years, the chief technology officer, and we're so lucky that his son is here at the University of Colorado. Let's hear it up for Go Buffs. And it was neat because Kathleen Ham, also T-Mobile, head of government affairs there, is also a Buff. And so Go Buffs.
Go Buffs.
And we are happy to adopt others, Neville. He's been leading their technology frontier, and as you can see from his shirt, he picks up his dress habits from his CEO, who is quite a character. And the story of what T-Mobile's been up to is a fascinating story, and they worked hard to prepare for a set of very interesting technological changes. And I should note, in doing so, bought a company here in Colorado, Layer 3, which has hired a number of our students. So we're very appreciative of the Colorado connection and very appreciative of Neville joining us. Without further ado, Neville, take it away.
that will increase massively true real-time, and a 10-fold increase in connection from approximately 100,000 limit of connections per square kilometer in LTE to 1 million in 5G. So this belief that happen in a 5G world. And looking to be extended for sensors and Internet of Things devices to up to 10 years. So a device that you can use, that you will never have to charge, you will never have to plug in anywhere, you can walk away, and for 10 years that thing will run. Think about that. Very, very powerful capability. It's the 5G future. Well, much like for 4G, it's impossible to anticipate all of the innovation that will come from 5G. I want to highlight several 5G applications that I believe are arriving. To your iPhone, probably quite a few, right? It's going to allow us to identify the people that we meet, even though we've never met them before. But by tying their face to social media, we will probably know way more about them. Where they went to school, their likes and dislikes, probably where they went on their last vacation, to dinner last night. That's a pretty scary concept, right? The network also knows where you are and can tailor the information it provides based on the architectural masterpiece of CU Boulder, the building that you're looking at here and the history. Or it can let you know that there's a sale on for, the sweater you've been looking for. From could be hundreds or thousands of miles away. It's also going to bring way more efficient control of manufacturing in factories and in industry. So the Internet of Things and massive connectivity, let's talk about that. 10-year battery life, the ability to support billions of devices. It's going to enable a new generation of IoT devices and wearables. We'll be able to more accurately monitor soil conditions to maximize crop yields with precision agriculture while minimizing waste that damages the environment. We'll be able to embed, and I love this one, so I love consumer IoT, an IoT device into nearly everything, including your children's shoes and their coat. So what's fun about that? Imagine an embedded 5G device that goes into the collar of your 6-year-old winter coat. First thing, you'll never lose the coat. Second, and way more importantly, you never lose the kid. So imagine brands differentiating themselves on those types of services, on devices that can provide incredible connectivity, never need to be charged, can be embedded, and you never have to worry about them, and they way outlive the life of the consumer product or article of clothing you're using. So, enough on use cases. That was just a quick touch. Let's talk about devices. In the 3 examples I just provided, I didn't really mention smartphones that much. So 5G is going to be way more than just smartphones. The majority of devices actually accessing the T-Mobile 5G network will almost certainly not be smartphones. It's going to be a whole range of new devices and form factors that will come to life in the 5G world. Today's Bluetooth headsets used for voice calls will continue to shrink in size. This type of device may very well be one of the first real-time translation tools I just referenced. Maybe someday, the devices will shrink in size to the point where we won't even see them, much like modern hearing aids. Connected watches have become an everyday wearable for many of us, and we'll see a new generation with 5G. There I referenced have produced a Borg-like, pretty unglamorous look. Way more smoothly integrated and provide a seamless interactive with VR and AR. Think of the wonders of connected medical devices. Love this topic. An implanted pacemaker, the medical provider of a condition that needs attention. Think about an insulin pump that measures glucose and spots deviations in sugar processing. These would be using 5G technology. We're already seeing these kinds of wireless health device advances now. Apple is seeking FDA approval for a watch-based text and call 911 in the unfortunate event that happened. And we continue to see innovation in the smartphone space. Innovation that's going to allow our smartphones Samsung's just introduced a folding screen smartphone. Fits in your pocket, open to double the size of the screen. This next generation of devices like that will support HD video with a much larger form factor, and they'll drive even greater use of as the video consumed increase, but the amount of data needed for an acceptable user experience on a large screen will be much higher than a small screen, driving a material growth in traffic on these networks that. So I'm on to the third section. We've covered some of the use cases and devices. Let's discuss some of the opportunities and challenges that this world of 5G is going to bring. Changes in technology that will have an enormous impact on how we live, work, and play, and the information that will be available to us. And the innovation and connectivity that will come with 5G is going to struggle today to manage this world of data and information. Our connected lives mean that a mind-boggling amount of information is out there on the internet and stored in databases. Spending habits, pictures with our friends and family, videos from that college party we'd like to forget, and on and on. Some of this information is real, some of it is even fake. It's now possible to look very real of people saying and doing things that never happened. We've all seen fake videos made to look like a politician said something they never did, or manipulated to be taken totally. Technology, all of this can be transmitted and accessed instantaneously, with consequences that can rapidly spiral out of control. These challenges of what is real and authentic will increase. At the same time, our concept of privacy is rapidly changing. As a society, we are willing more and more to put information about ourselves out on the internet. We do that in exchange for convenient service and often without an adequate understanding of how the information will be used or combined with other information can have far-reaching consequences, as we all know. And I know that's going to be a topic of material discussion over the next day and a half. So 5G holds the potential for AR and VR technologies will come with the potential for video to exist of almost everything we do. Technologies like facial recognition will make it possible to sort through these videos to track what they're doing and what they've done. All of this, we must find the right balance of regulation and industry best practices to allow technology and its many benefits to flourish while effectively protecting our privacy and ensuring that we can trust the information that we see. Over the past year or so, we've seen companies like Google and Facebook come under fire for allowing their platforms to be used to spread false discussion of hate speech and how it's been allowed to spread. They've acted to take down bot accounts, to more rigorously enforce and redefine restrictions on that type of hate speech. But this is a delicate balance, political bias. And what one person may see as a violation of their privacy, a whole new generation of people are not only willing to accept, but they also view it positively. Party that seemed fun to share at the time with friends now realizes it may not look so good to a prospective employer. It's virtually impossible. Should we have a way to do that? And who should be responsible for that? And finally, we need to protect data that is supposed to be private in the very first place. 4 in 10 Americans access their bank through the internet, according to the American Banking Association. And 25% of users access their bank on a mobile device. 10% of all retail sales worldwide, and e-commerce in North America grew by 16% in 2018 to over $500 billion. As possible to work with the government to ensure that a breach doesn't occur in the first place, and we work to minimize any damage hacks. So I'm almost done. In closing, so today wireless broadband networks are ubiquitous. They provide an experience that not only competes true today, it's going to be even more true tomorrow and in the years to come. When you can get speeds on your mobile device in various form factors that were once only big things are happening. Networks like T-Mobile's are going to make that future possible. So what comes next? We think it's about applications that can come from the network. As latency decreases by an order of magnitude, a new generation of services will come online, from AR and VR to drones and autonomous vehicles. In a 5G future, incredible network speed and performance, applications like this suddenly are not just possible, they become likely and in the near future, inevitable. I believe it's incredibly happier and more prosperous place. I'm also keenly aware of the inherent risks posed by the ability to instantaneously share information, true or fake, around the globe and in our taken very seriously. It's said that fortune favors the bold, another old and often used quote. I do believe that. But for fortune to benefit all of us that are coming.